Very warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Commodity TV today in Zurich, and with me here is, for the first time, Marc Henderson, the chairman and founder of Treasury Metals. And we want to talk about the company, of course, and the outlook 2016-2017. Marc, pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, good morning, Johan. Thanks for inviting me on.
Thank you. Treasury Metals, where we did a lot of interviews with your company, with your CEO, also with Greg Fern, your Vice President of Corporate Development. Now I want to hear from the founder some of the good news of the company. Maybe you give us a short insight what you have done with the pre-feasibility, and you're now working on the feasibility.
Of course, yes. Well, this is a late-stage development project in Ontario, as some of your viewers may know. We're sort of heading into the final innings of that process with the view to being complete no later than the first quarter of next year. The next stage of the project really is to finally push the button on the feasibility study, which is about a 6-month process, and that'll kind of bring the whole thing together. And then we'll be working on the larger scale financing at that point.
Fantastic. Before we dive into your feasibility study a little bit more, what does it cost? Does the company have the money for that?
The feasibility study, yes, we're in the process of putting that capital together. We had a resource lender, very well-known lender, RMB, Rand Merchant Bank, who were in this business. They unfortunately pulled out of North America and have gone back to lending only in South Africa. So we've replaced them with another group of lenders, and between that and some new equity, that'll get us to essentially to the finish line. But the bigger focus now is already turning to really to the production financing.
Fantastic. You have paid off some of your old loans with RMB. Now you have done this financing, as you pointed out. In the financing, there is also a company involved who is a mine equipment financer. Is this a little bit of a sign to get a project into production?
Well, I'm sure they would like some of their equipment. They're actually a South African production company, and one of the principals in our company, who I've a longtime associate of mine, has been involved in that business for quite a long time. So he's certainly a very advocate of his equipment. We do have a small open pit component to our project in the early years, which of course is beneficial from a cost standpoint. So we'll have to see. Those decisions obviously are still ahead of us.
Fantastic. Let's dive into your feasibility study. Of course, it's pure speculation what we are doing, but what do you hope to find, or what do you expect as a result for the feasibility? Can you give us a little bit of a guidance? Let's put it that way. Is the cost closer to $1,200 per ounce, or are we closer to $800-900 per ounce? I mean, you have a favorable project, top infrastructure. What would be the capital expenditure, things like this?
Well, to stick with the sort of the guidance that you're allowed to give in the realm of public markets with 43-101 protocols and all that sort of thing, which I'm sure all your viewers are all too familiar with. The most recent set of economic numbers that's sort of in the marketplace, if you will, is quite outdated from 2012. I would say by and large, though, the shape of the project, the cost inputs on the project really haven't changed. The one huge beneficial thing that's happened is a significant weakness in the Canadian currency, which has really resulted probably in about a $300 bump on the revenue line. When we last put economic numbers out in a PA that was done in late 2012, the revenue line was probably 1,350 Canadian roughly, and we're probably about a number that's maybe $300 higher than that now. So by and large, most of the inputs that we'll see in there are quite positive. What's happened primarily in between is an awful lot of infill drilling and work that's done around the certainty of the resource, and what comes in the final stage of these processes when you do feasibility is certainty around cost inputs, and that's we're really going to skip that pre-feasibility stage because we have a very high degree of confidence that we have a commercial deposit there, and we're really going to go straight to final costing, which is really all around ultimately building it and getting the finance to build it.
Can you give us an idea what are the projected costs, let's say, for the first phase? I think you have a two-stage.
The Capex guidance from before was roughly, and the Capex guidance we've been giving has generally been around $100 million Canadian.
Will it stay there, or is it a bit more?
Well, I mean, there's always pluses and minuses, but I don't think you're looking at a dramatic difference from what was in that document earlier. And I think on the cash cost, obviously the currency there has a significant play. So we've probably, if anything, any inflationary type costs that you would have seen come through in the last 3 or 4 years have probably been, or any costs that would have resulted from pushing the grade lower, which you always do when you actually take these projects to production, particularly in open pits, I think is kind of offset by the currency. And then you've also had a huge benefit from the energy price. How long that lasts is anybody's guess, but I don't think anybody sees $100 oil anytime soon.
Yeah, that's right. How much money would you say saves your favorite location? I mean, just to give the people, our viewers, an idea about that, where do you think your money saved in terms of roads, of power connecting, of, just to give them an idea how favorable your jurisdiction is in your location?
Well, I think the for those that don't know, we're very close to a modest-sized town in northern Canada, but the big benefit is it's right off our major highway, the Trans-Canada Highway. There's a rail through that town. There's a gas line right through the property. There's a power line right through the property. So all those sorts of things are very beneficial, certainly from an operating cost basis, but also from a capital cost basis, because when you come to build it, you don't need a camp. And those sorts of things. So you get cost benefits all the way around on these sorts of projects. I mean, projects in similar towns in Canada that have those benefits would be in places like Val-d'Or, in Timmins. There's a reason that a lot of the mines are developed around those towns, because obviously the smaller scale projects and the projects that are on the margin get kicked into the positive territory as a result of all those benefits, as a result of having a local labor force, et cetera. So there's an awful lot of benefits that I think people don't necessarily appreciate from projects that are well located, and ours certainly would be at the, I would say at the very top of the list of what's coming along in the pipeline in Canada now.
Okay. Can you give us an idea about the permitting process where you are now working in? Are you in good shape? Are you ahead of the schedule? Where are you by now?
I'd probably say in terms of a schedule, obviously these things always last longer than you would expect. I mean, around the world, I don't think permitting's got any easier in any jurisdiction. It's a very thorough process. We're well advanced. We're through the community consultation, the so-called town hall meeting part of the process, which took place mid last year. So I would say we're in the final third of the process, and I think we're in pretty good shape. And to date, I don't think we have really much in the way of opposition, certainly not locally. The local community is very much in favor of the project. And so I think it's mostly a matter of you've just got to go through the process and put in the time, and you'll come out the other side of it.
Yeah, fantastic. So that means you are sticking fully to the rules, you are fulfilling everything, and that's why you are in good shape also.
Of course. Well, it's not a controversial project. I mean, it's really
so you have no opposition.
It's a very low. There's always opposition, and there's somebody in the town won't like what you're doing, but by and large, this is not a project that's the least bit controversial. I don't believe, and I think it's the kind of project that ultimately will get the green light, as most things in Canada have done. The government there, both provincially and federally, is very pro resource development.
Yeah, perfect. Last question. Assume everything goes the right way. Assume the project financing works out as you want it. From today on, when will you be in production?
I think we're targeting being in a position to break ground no later than first quarter next year, and I think you're looking at probably a 1-year build. So sometime in 2018, you'd be looking at a production scenario there.
Okay, so that's almost 18 months, something like that.
Hopefully, in time for the gold bull market that all of your viewers are expecting.
Exactly, so do we. That's right. Great, Marc. Thank you very much for the update, and talk to you soon.
My pleasure, Johan.
Thank you very much. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Marc Henderson, the chairman and founder of Treasury Metals. Well, you heard it. 18 months from here, assume everything goes well with the company, with the financing, they are in production. So another successful Ontario, gold producer is coming online, and we keep you updated. Thanks, and bye bye from Zurich.